Good morning and a huge warm welcome to Carnation Crafts. We're live in the Carnation Crafts studios and it's wonderful to have your company. Goodness me, did this fly. So we don't have much stock left, guys. Botanical Bliss has flown. We are already at 70% of the main collection gone, and the upsell, the extra, this gorgeous hanging archway card shape, 75%'s gone. If you want to get hold of this collection today, now's the time. I don't think it'll still be hanging around at midnight tonight, so you do need to get on board and not lose out, because we've got discount for you and we've got the most incredible set for launch week this week. Botanical Bliss is on the Carnation Crafts website under 240901. It would be £130.95 if you were to buy all of the things individually. Carnation will have it on their website in a couple of weeks at £114.99. You can get it today for $99.99. And when you see what's in it, my goodness, is that a bargain. It's also got free UK P&P. Thank you very much. We like them apples. There is a QR code at the bottom of the screen that you can scan in order to take you straight to that product. You can also look on the Carnation Crafts website where it will give the new releases, and you can go straight onto there and grab it from there as well. All your artwork will be ready to go as well on the website, so you can download that. If you buy the collection today, you can print it out and you can start looking at it, playing with it, getting ready for those dies to come, so you can start crafting with it. And some of you might already have it in your hands if you bought it yesterday. Please do let us know, because that's always really exciting. But it's just going really fast. You've got this gorgeous greenhouse example here, which is your botanical sanctuary. And actually, that's true, isn't it? Those gardening moments, for those of you that love gardening, it is a sanctuary. I know for my mum, it's very much her sanctuary. It's a place of peace and rest and all good things. So we get to then decorate that, and you've got lots of elements for it. So you've got your flourishing well, which is loads of botanicals for you to put in there, including lots of elements such as peppers and tomatoes, those sorts of salads and vegetables that grow, as well as your florals. So elements that you can put in that greenhouse. You've also got your beautiful extra essentials, your gardening essentials. So you've got your watering can, your compost heap, you've got your beautiful flower boxes, you've got your compost bags. I'm just looking at the picture there, sorry Taz. You got your fork and your spade. Then let's bring in some friends who might want to play in the garden, and that's going to be your mice. That's your pottering about. You've got two little mice, and we'll look at these in detail on the boards, but these two little mice are watering their garden and they're looking at what they're doing. They've got gorgeous little aprons on and some extra accessories. And watching them, or watching you, are our beautiful neighbourhood watch, the little geese, who are having the best time. They're very curious little creatures, and they're very beautiful. As I say, we are already at 70%. It's flown. We knew it would fly. It's incredible. The main card shape in and of itself is just a phenomenon. And then you've got the hanging cascade as well, your hanging archway card shape as well. That's at 75%. You guys know what you're doing. You're not daft, are you? Which we love. So lots for you to choose from. We're going to have a look at the boards, and then from there we're going to have a look at some finished samples, and we'll get into demo for you. We'll try and do 2 demos if we can. We may only get 1 done, because we're going to look at that beautiful shape and get that done, and then from there we'll see what happens. So first of all, I'll turn this so you can see it. You have got your stunning botanical sanctuary. This is everything. This die is crafting gold, literally crafting gold. It's phenomenal. You've got your beautiful shape. It is clever. It's engineered so that you can, you've got little marks down here for scoring. You can fold those marks. There's extra marks down the centre of the window and one here. You concertina fold on both sides of it and it will stand on its own. Or go ahead and add 2, 3, 4, 5 more layers to it. Build up that dimension, and I'll show you exactly what I mean in a moment. You've also got this big die. And there's nothing on the board for it, so you don't see it there. But this die, right around the edge, makes the most incredible gift box. Look at that. This die. So not only are you getting an incredible gift, look at that. You get a beautiful little card that you can make for the inside, decorate it however you want to decorate it. You get the belly band, so it holds it all fast for you inside and it doesn't spring open, because we're talking about layers. We're talking about building dimension in the most sweet way. Look at that. All of those elements coming through, and it seats firmly in this beautiful gift box. Now, the gift box itself can be used in enormous amounts of ways. It doesn't have to be a gift box. It can be a card base. It can be a shadow box. It can be a multitude of things. You're the crafter. You're going to use it in loads of different ways, and that's always going to be an essential for us, isn't it? We want those things that take us further. We're going to have a look at building that box in the second show today, so that will be done at 12 o'clock. It's 12, isn't it, Taz? Yep. So that'll be done at 12 o'clock, so we will come back to that then. But just that, on its own, I think it's worth it just for that. You've got your beautiful elements here for the box. You've got extra details like your tables, your little geese can be sitting on there, your mice can be sitting on there. You've got the belly band here, and you've got a sentiment holder which is nested. Just incredible value, incredible value. We've got some little friends joining the fray here, those geese, the neighbourhood watch with their curious faces, that gorgeous whimsy that comes only from hand-drawn art. And we know it's got the mark of Carnation, don't we? We know, because it's that style, that beautiful whimsy that we get every time when Carnation do this incredible hand-drawn artwork. And look at their little faces, the cut line details. Take a look at every single little white mark on these geese. Each one a cut line. Each one designed to make it shapeable, mouldable, and you can do so much with them. The Carnation signature, the mice. Synonymous with the brand. You've got the little one here hosing her garden, and the little one here, he's ready to go. He's ready to dig. Now, his little hands are designed that they can hold in your fork, your little trowel, your shears. He can be getting to work. He's got a little seed bag as well, and a little window box there. So he's ready to go. Both of them dressed in the Carnation apron, which is beyond cute. And then you're flourishing well. Lots of different botanicals here to play with. Now, you might know somebody who is a keen gardener who loves to grow their own veg. That's taken care of. You might know somebody who loves to grow their own tropical plants. Taken care of. Everything in here detailed and designed so that you can work in different ways. And I love the fact we've got the tiny little shapes here, so we can put them on the windows of that greenhouse. It all works. Everything working together. From here, you've got your gardening essentials. Stunning pieces. I love the watering can. It's gold, it's vibrant, it looks like metal. You've got your larger spade and fork, your bracket for your hanging basket. You've got this. I think they use that to damp down ground, but you could also put your plants on it. And also, one of the DT members I noticed had used it almost as a bracket for hanging baskets. So it's got lots of different uses for it. Then you've got your flower boxes here, which are beautiful. I love them. I love them in real life, and I love them here. Your composter, your compost bags, and that beautiful grounding device with that soil we need. Grounding devices, they're essential to what we do. Absolutely. And just making sure. So that is your Botanical Bliss collection. Live now and only launched yesterday, 240901. Show price today, $99.99. Free UK P&P. It's going to go back up to $114.99. I think that will probably be on Friday night. Please, please don't miss out on this. It is crafting gold. If ever I was to tell you, these are the collections to get, this is it. It is such a versatile collection. We've also got the added shape. Now, this has already sold 75%, possibly exceeded that already by now, so there's not much left of this at all. You have got the most incredible card base with this beautiful sun ray. It's so pretty. Now, that can be designed as like a sun ray, or it can be a visual tunnel going into something, depending on how you want to play with the card, shape the card, and how you want to bring your crafting forward. It has this extra archway, and that gives it this really lovely, soft sort of feel to it. It's really pretty when it's done. Gorgeous, gorgeous elements. You've got your card base, you've got your mats and your layer elements as well. But this bad boy, that is really, really important. It changes the way we do things because it's a stand that allows your cards to seat at an angle. Why is that important? Well, First of all, if you don't use 350 GSM and you use something much lighter, it's going to fall over when you do a normal card base. When you angle it back on a good support, it will hold itself. But the other reason why it's so important is it can be used for every single card you make going forward. And there's gold in them, the hills. Because literally any card that you make, it's there for. I've also got a demo, which maybe I'll get done today. It may be done on Friday on Hobby Maker, where I've used it as part of the actual base of a card, as an element in the card. So it's not just designed as a stand. You can use it in multiple ways. But there's a card seated here on the stand, so you've got that angular where it seats nicely and you can look at it and it's exactly the right angle. And as I turn this so you can see it front facing, you can see that gorgeous angle, can't you? It's just ever so slightly tilted. It means you don't have to worry about where your score marks are. Remember, your score marks are individual to the cards that you make. So if you've got something with a huge amount of weight on that card, you want to make that score line on the back of the card much thicker. If you've got something that's very light, you can make it 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, but it depends what you're putting on it. You don't have to think about it anymore. Just cut the one base and put that stand on it. You're good to go. And that's an incredible tool for us. It really helps with what we do. So you can use it, like I say, in multiple ways. But they're not just giving you that. And to be honest, it's worth it for that. I mean, it's $49.99. I think it's worth it for that. But we'll give you extras. We'll give you this as well. That full bloom, that's a board, isn't it? This is a collection in itself, and it is only one die set. 240907 on the Carnation Crafts website. Like I say, show price of $49.99, $2.95 UK P&P. You can see why it's flying, can't you? So you're going to get your little gates, you're going to get your hinges, you're going to get the top of your little posts as well. There's a post on the previous board. And these mighty big florals that are impactful straight away. Your showstoppers, every time a showstopper. You can't make a bad card with Carnation because you've got the elements to make it perfect every single time. $49.99. Incredible value for an incredible die set. Please, please don't miss out on this. It's a real day today. Yesterday and today, these launch shows come about once a month now. And every time they knock it out of the park, and every time they give us something that we didn't previously necessarily have as a die form. I know lots of you yesterday were saying how excited you were about having the box, a die to make a box, because it matters. It changes things for us. It makes it easier for us to craft. Envelopes are not always easy to make, and they're certainly not easy to buy in the sizes that we need when we're working with dimension. We're using foam tape all the time with Carnation, aren't we? And we're using silicone gel glue to build that height. Can't always get an envelope to deal with that, but we can make a box. And the box is exactly the right size for that card shape. Now the box itself is 8 by 8 inches on its outside. The internal allowance for it is 7 by 7. And I would say that your cards probably be about 6 3/4 to get it to fit sort of inside that. So beautiful size for card making, beautiful size. Added to that, you can have that depth on it. So it's a really important piece. This is a really important collection. These are the ones to grab. 240901 Botanical Bliss collection, $99.99 today, going up to £114.99 on Friday night. So you haven't got much time left. Please, please don't miss out on this one. It's just magic. Right, let's have a look at some samples from the DT team. They're so sweet. Now, your hanging archway card shape, obviously we see it here in its upright form, but it can also be used landscape. Look how cute they are. The artwork's so beautiful, isn't it? Those perfect papers at the back, and I'll talk to you about your perfect papers in a moment. Coming forward, we've got your box here. So glad you are my friend, okay? Now, Sue's done this, so we've got the little catch that allows the box to close. So you get that. Hinges down the side. You can use 2, you can use 3. And then inside we have a reveal. Decorate up that box, and inside the most beautiful card. Now this is Sue's. Sue has gone on to make a 3-layered card here. Now I want to show you some elements of this. So Sue, thank you for your hard work. Let me just show you as I pull it forward with my little pinkins. Can you see the dimension here? Okay, so lots of elements here. I can pull that forward and you can see the 3. And the little pieces at the back, concertina down to allow this to stand free and easy. What a collection. You're going to be able to do that yourself easily. You're going to be able to very simply make those cards. And if you order today, you are more than likely going to have it tomorrow. So that means that you can be crafting along with everybody else. And the thing is, you're going to see these in the group and be like, oh, I love it. I love it so much. Have a wonderful day. The box here, it's got the little card inside, which is very sweet. And I'll come to that in a minute. What I want to talk to you about with this one is where you're using the mirror card, obviously, and you've got these gorgeous, gorgeous backgrounds. This is indicative of a wedding to me. It's got a real feel of a wedding card, a wedding gift. What a way to present to a wedding couple. To be able to give them a presentation box to house, you know, any card that you put in it. Invitations for weddings. Really, really sweet. Lavinia's card here with acetate, so showing how to put that gloss finish on the windows so they shine. Look at those layers. Now, the way Lavinia's done this, can I don't know if I'll be able to do it. Can I borrow your overhead, Taz, just to be a pain? See if I can show you. This piece on the inside, that's been done on acetate, okay? So you've got your pieces coming together at the side, acetate glued on the inside, so it looks like that little mouse is sort of magically floating there in the middle of the card. And that's what you would call a floating card, as such, a floating element. We use them in paper sculpture a lot. And you use acetate to do it. It sort of provides a bit of mystery. How is the mouse just standing there in the middle of the card? Well, it's because we use acetate to do it. Super cute. Now, the great thing about it is we have mirrored vignettes. So when I turn it round, it's just as decorated on the back as it is on the front. It's an all-rounder, isn't it? Spectacular card making here. This isn't just any cards collection, is it? This is a Carnation card collection. We knew it was going to be special, but man alive, maybe not this special. It's so beautiful. I just want to show you some of these boxes now, where you've got these wonderful pieces, how they've been decorated. Get your free backing papers from the Carnation Craft website as well. You can see that the imagery on those backing papers aligns perfectly with the florals that we're getting from the collection. Decorate the inside and the outside. So this one here, which is from Sue Dalrymple again, showing us how we can decorate it as a card on the inside. You don't necessarily need to do a separate card. This can be the card. You're not throwing these away, are you? These are not your average cards. Imagine your Christmas cards coming in this presentation box. That's why this collection is so important. Because this element, this presentation box, that's everything. It's everything. The stand on the hanging archway is everything. It changes the game. We want to be the leaders. We want to be the pioneers. And we are. We do pioneer crafts. It's important. It's important for you, it's important for me, and it's important for Carnation. So let's get on with our first demo. We're going to have a look at that gorgeous botanical sanctuary. That's the greenhouse element. If I get a chance to do another demo, I will. And then in the next show at 12 o'clock, we will be doing the box, the presentation box. What I do want to just whiz to first of all, before we come away from everything, are the perfect papers. With every collection that Carnation do, we do a set of perfect papers. Every piece of artwork that you see is hand painted, hand drawn as such, and so we then colour pick from those and we get perfect papers from them. We're going to give you 48 sheets and we're going to give you 6 colour variations there, so you've got plenty to play with, each one perfectly matching the other, and it also works super well with your vignettes and your artwork. 240908, your Botanical Bliss Perfect Papers. There's a show price here of $14.99, $2.95 UK P&P if you order it separately. However, if you're getting that in with the bundle of the collection and the upsell, for instance, that would be free P&P because it's over £50, and that's the threshold for Carnation. International buyers will pay a different price. It will be a different piece for you, but very simple as well. If you buy the complete bundle, that will cost you $4.95 shipping and handling. If you want to add in the perfect papers, that's $14.95 shipping and handling. And we have it on good authority from one of our customers in America that he got his within 5 days of ordering, which I think is pretty canny, really. That we liked that, because a lot of companies in the UK don't even send out your orders after 5 days. And so in America, from Carnation, 5 days after buying it, and that's how it should be. Right, let's have a look at your bits and your bats, and let's pull a card together. So just removing from my bag. Also, just while I'm doing this, we have got the wonderful Taz in the house, keeping us company today and doing some extraordinary camera work. So good morning to you, Mrs. Taz. Right, what I've done here, I've taken the 2 greenhouses and I have put them together. So I've just glued my edges, okay, so you can see it there. Just those edges there. All right, so just 2 together, and I've got these seated that way, and I'm going to do a double card. So when it stands, because I've got the 2 of those together, and it's got a sort of a thicker dimension, it will work as a stand. Now, what I can also do is use the stand from the archway card. I could cut it down so it's shorter, and I can use that as well. So I've got elements, haven't I? I've got different ways of controlling things. So I can place this and it stands on its own. Wonderful, right? If you want to put some acetate in, it'll make it even stronger as well. So I don't want you to think of this as ever being a one-trick pony. Many ways to play with it. Let's take out some wet adhesive here. And an applicator. So what I'm going to do now, I just wanted to place those together so I remembered in demo which formation, which one was this one. But now that I've done that, I can then place down small amounts of wet glue, just little dots. Piece those in, just so it holds. It's like doing one of those things when you're a kid, Taz. Can you remember them? With the paper.
Oh, yeah.
It's like holding those.
I still do it now.
Do you? Do you still make them?
Yeah.
I can't, what were they called? Choosers or something? I can't remember. Right, so now that I've got my 2 pieces together, I need to work with them, obviously. Now, if you want to work with them flat, you can fold this over just while you're working, and it will flatten out for you to put your elements on. Just be careful not to get any adhesive on that piece. You don't want it sticking to this part of the greenhouse. You want to keep it obviously separate in that way. But let's start building up and shaping out. So the first thing I'm going to do is create kind of a frame for my piece. And that's going to give me a visual of where I'm going. I know I want tall elements, and I can use these here. So the first thing I'm going to come in with is my florals. And I'm going to put this in the center. Now, what I will say to you about this is, if you want to fold this in half for postage, you're going to have to score this down the middle and fold it too, so that it folds with your piece. That's going to be important. You'll score it down the middle, and it will fold as you fold your card in half. So just to give you the heads up there, so you know to get ahead of the game on that. Already, just with one vignette, and this is the importance of Carnation, we've started to build a picture, haven't we? There is something to see here, right? We're walking into these archways. When we use it in this way, and you've got it shaped this way, rather than it just being a greenhouse, for instance, it could now be archways into you know, the courtyard of a stately home, something like that. It becomes something else, doesn't it? It's very beautiful. I'm going to then give it some side definition, so to speak. Now, I've got 2 options here. I can take this where it is at the moment, and I can bring this round, and I can form that box, okay? So if I want to do that, I can use my side panel here to put some tall florals on if I want to, and I can fill the inside. Now, I'm not going to be doing that on this demo, but I do have a demo where we make it as a box. So there are lots of different ways of using it, but I did want to give you those options. I'm going to just paste this one onto here. Now, what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of adhesive going up, mainly on the bottom. just so I can secure this, and then I can commit more adhesive to it once I know I've got it where I want it. So about there is perfect. If I need to add some at the top where I didn't put any adhesive, I now can. I know where it's meant to be. So that's there. Can you hear that rattling behind me, Taz? I do apologise. It is my the cover of my Brother Scan and Cut mat. Waffing in the fan. Right, I'm just going to place this adhesive here. And then we'll just commit this down. I'm being careful not to go over that score line too far, because when it folds back, I want to be able to make sure that it doesn't get in the way. So I can still now fold and fold. Remember, that's my stand. So I need to have that separated so that when it stands, it's sort of got that element. So if you can see it from above here, you can see where that is holding itself. Okay, so you've got all of these pieces there. Once we've got that in place, we can start now to build and decorate. I've got my frame. I visually have a point that I can start with and move on from. So let's add in some extra joyful elements. First of all, I've got my little watering can. I love this so much. I have used this many times in demo as a little element that sort of sits and hangs as a top piece, and I think it's so cute. Really sweet, isn't it? So you do have the chance to do that with it. Lots of different ways of playing with it. Maybe we'll leave it there for now. It's just cute, and then I'll come in a little bit. But let's decorate some of these windows. Are you okay, Taz?
Yeah.
Thank you for your help. She's a good egg. So just placing these on. Let's get some colour play. Now, I find it easier to put the adhesive down on the little planks rather than trying to guesswork where it's going to go on here. It's just easier for me to sort of navigate and manipulate when I know that the adhesive is going to hold in the right place. Yes, Taz?
Just a quick one. We've just received a message from Pamela. Ordered hers at lunchtime yesterday. Just received it.
Yeah! We like them apples. It's the joy of Carnation, right? Let's place that down. Yeah, good morning to everybody.
I'll say good morning once you've done the demonstration to everybody.
That sounded like the start of a Karen Carpenter song. Right, let's put this here. So, a little bit of gold at the top to bring the eye up. Try and make sure they're level. Yeah, about there is fine. So we're starting to build scope now. So we're balancing, but we're not being symmetrical. We've got the framing out, which is symmetrical, but we're starting to move the plants around so that visually you've got more interest and you're looking around. You want to join in, you want to play in this beautiful setting. I think we'd all like to live here, wouldn't we? So I'm just going to place this one down, and then underneath this one that's in front. Now, if you were to do 2 or 3 layers of this, obviously I don't have time in demo for that, but you could do 2 or 3 layers going back. It will look incredible. Absolutely incredible. So you've got 2 together and then double it back. That's going to look just out of this world, isn't it? Let's continue on with some of these florals. Go for this height. Don't be afraid to overlap. So you've got all the busyness coming through. We want the feeling of this really, really built up, beautiful kind of place that we all want to go and sit in, right? And I've got one more of the whites here. I'm going to place this here so I'm balancing, but I'm also mismatching on purpose. Being careful not to get it onto my panel at the back. That's my stand, and I don't want to interfere with the opening mechanism of the card. Beautiful. Right, let's make a start. Mr. Mouse is very, very busy. He's got lots to do this morning. And so Mr. Mouse he needs his wheelbarrow. He's got things to do. So the first thing I want to do is give him an extended over large planter that's just going to sit inside that doorway. Okay, it's huge and he's got some pruning to do. So we're going to put this in. Make sure there's plenty of adhesive on there because I'm only doing it just on the seam. So visually, I've got that shadow play, I've got that interest, I've got that fullness that I'm looking for, okay? So that's already my start. Mr. Mouse, like I say, busy, busy boy. He is over here. I'm just going to manipulate his body shape a little bit. I don't want to ball him out and use silicone gel glue because it'll go through the little gaps. So just a little manipulation to give him just a little bit of oomph, and then I can place him down here. And I just want him so his little nose sort of almost reaching those florals there. So some adhesive down here, commit him, and then after that I can choose where else I need the adhesive. So I know now I can put some just behind his little schnozzle. And there he sits. So you can start to make choices as to where you're going to put your elements here. I can put a random wheelbarrow somewhere. I can put it very strategic. I can have it laid down. I can have it, you know, leaning. There's lots of different ways visually to give yourself different impact for different things. Mr. Mouse is going to need some tools. So let's put some shears into his paw. He's very, very busy, Taz. There he is, all ready to snip into that card. He's a busy, busy boy. And then from there, I'll put his little spade just in there. If you're canny with this little spade, you could actually use it as an ice lolly, just so you know, in case you're wanting to kind of change things around. Obviously, when you put it with a little fork, it's very specifically gardening, but used on its own, it can be used as a little lollipop. So he's got his tools there, he's ready for his day. Now, my wheelbarrow, I'm going to come in with over at this side, and I want it to hang in the opening. Now, I need to be careful to make sure that doesn't hang lower than the card. It's going to affect the bottom of my card. How do I ensure that I don't get a mistake on that when I'm only gluing it partially? Use your glass cutting mat, level it to that piece, the line at the bottom. And then I know that anything I glue has got to go no lower than that line. Visually, if I want to put something in this archway, I've got a visual point. So your glass cutting mat becoming very important, of course. Now, I want my adhesive, I think, to be around about here, just for my first point, and then I can commit. So onto that line, around about there. I don't want it floating in midair. Once it becomes, you know, once you've got the card sort of facing the recipient and it's standing up, I don't want my wheelbarrow floating, so I do need to make sure it's on that line but not below it. So I'm going to pin that, commit it down so I know that that's seated. Now comes the silliness. Where, oh where, are our little friends going to be? Well, the first one is going to be seated. We'll stand him around about here on top of this. He's very busy. Now I can use silicone gel glue with him because this is already my base and there's no holes. Get him to that grounding point so he's not floating. Okay, make sense of his feet. He's got very happy dancing feet. And then we're going to bring in a little mini me version of him. And he's going to be over here. Grounding out all the time. Just think about where their feet are going to be so that you know they're not going to be in the wrong place. Now, I've also got one here and he can sit over here. Okay, so he's walking off. It's all very busy. He's had enough. He's going for a cup of tea. Commit him down. Adhesive and pin. The last bit of whimsy and tongue-in-cheek that we bring in, of course, is our beautiful little boy here who is mischievous. Little bit of wet glue on his base. And let's seat him in that wheelbarrow. Menace! He's a menace. And there we have a story told, a narrative brought through the art of card making, the art of carnation craft, and the joy of crafting. Beyond sweet. You've got so many elements here. If you're utilising it this way, obviously, when you're doing it at home, just make sure you burnish your sides very, very well. It can all be folded up for postage, obviously, but those side panels here are going to be your stand. Super cute, super beautiful, and an alternative use to its original way. Remember yesterday we went live with shows for you when we launched with Davy B at 9 a.m, 11 a.m, and 1 p.m, and there was full demonstrations of how to use it, I guess in its original form, if you like. And as we go through the week, there will be more demonstrations with variations and different ways to use the collection. 240901 is your Botanical Bliss collection, but it's flying super fast and a lot of you are going to miss out. It's going to have a combined price for every single individual die of £130.95. Carnation will reduce that on their website to £114.99, and that will be that price as of Friday night. However, at the minute they're letting you have it for a fantastic show price of £99.99 with free UK P&P. You are welcome to use a QR code at the bottom of the screen and that will take you straight to it, or you can just tippy tap on the Carnation Craft website. That would also get you there. You can go to the latest releases, the new launches on the website, and that will take you straight to the collection. That new launches, that new releases tab on the Carnation Crafts website is the place to hang out. Just where the cool kids hang out, because it's always got what's coming next, what's new, what's just been, so you can always find those newer elements. Yes, Taz?
I thought we would say hello to
people. Hey.
So we'll start with Facebook. We've got Michaela who's saying good morning. Linda is saying good morning. Alison's saying good morning. Loads of people are saying they're waiting for their orders to arrive today. We've got Carla who's saying good morning. She's printed her vignettes. She's just waiting patiently.
Always frustrating.
Sam Smith is saying good morning. Pamela Simpson, Jeanette. We've got Lorraine. We've got Christine, Susan Page. Alison asks, could you make the box base into an 8x8 card instead of making the box?
Yes, is a simple answer. However, let me get my brain around it. If you were to just... So, let me answer that question. As it stands, you've got the depth, okay? The depth of it. If I wanted to get rid of this side and just have this side, that would be a sort of 7x7 almost, wouldn't it? The inside part. If I didn't want to make it a box, which means I wouldn't put two together and I wouldn't fold those concertina pieces as such to get it to form that box at the side. If it's what I think you mean, you might just be better using two sheets of 8x8. If that makes sense, to make a card base. You could use it, but the die's not going to cut it as 8x8, it's going to cut it with those extra pieces. You could use that as a card base and just have your 8x8 box shadow, or shadow box, as a card base. That's an option, and it's a lovely option. But I think if you just wanted to use that inside piece as your 8x8, because it doesn't naturally die cut it, because it's obviously given us those score marks for it to make the card, or the box, I think you'd just be as well as cutting the 8x8. I think if that's where my brain's going, I may have misread what you mean, but that's because you'd have to cut it anyway to get rid of the bits that are scored for you to fold it into the box. Does that help? I don't know if I just made matters a lot worse. Yes, Taz.
And then we've got another great question from Louise who says, hi Carla and Taz, do you think this would work well with summer cascades?
Yes. I think it'll work well with every collection. I think certainly when you're looking at your Botanical Sanctuary, we've got elements from, I tell you what would look beautiful with this is slip and slide. Remember the wee mouse that's going down the welly? Really cute with this. Summer cascades would be beautiful with it. There's loads I can think of. What's the one with the trellis? And the great big plant pots with the pigeons. My brain. That, anyway, would work beautifully with this. And I tell you what else would be gorgeous with this. You know the lady gardener with the dog? That. There's so many that you've got in your collection that just will form. I think getting together with this, as soon as I saw it, I was like, they would be divine together. especially if you had the getting together house shape in the centre and then the botanical sanctuary on either side, and you would form this scape and it would just be beautiful. And then the interactivity of opening the getting together card where it forms, where it opens up, that with the two, oh, you could craft with this collection. The routes you can go down are endless. It's one of those pieces that's just, for want of a less dramatic word, but it is profound. This is the type of crafting that we wait for in the industry. These are the dies that we wait for, and we hope these sort of things will be made. And how nice to be part of a company where we know that's going to happen because they engineer the dies with ingenuity, and we can move forward, right?
And then over on YouTube, we've got Janine who's saying good morning.
Is that Janine?
Janine. We've got Linda Poland. We've got Linda Gregory. Everybody's saying that they're patiently waiting.
Ooh.
We've got Viv. We've got Suzanne. We've got Amelia. We've got Julia. And we've got Patricia. Julia asks, over in the US,
Hey.
is the box strong enough for long-distance mailings? Love the entire collection.
It's kind of a case of how long is a piece of string, I guess. Yes, but if I was doing anything where I was sending it long distance, I'd want to put it in some bubble wrap anyway. It's still paper, so you have always got that constraint whenever we're doing anything like that. But in the excuse me, in the same right as when you send a card, there's always, you've got to protect it, right? So for me, if I was going to send this, I would be inclined, in order to keep the postage low, to put a piece of grey board on the top and on the bottom of the box before I put it into an envelope or something along those terms. I certainly wouldn't send it just as it is, with an address on the front of it, for instance. I would want to make sure that that is in itself protected. Bit of grey board underneath and on top, bit of book board just to keep it supported, and then you could put some tape around that book board, pop that into an envelope, and it'll be fine, absolutely fine. It's not going to get crushed because you've got the structure here. So this point, because paper, remember, paper is one of the strongest things that we've got in history. In man-made fibres, paper is incredibly strong. Go and watch some YouTube videos. It's fascinating. There's people who have put buildings on top of paper. Honestly, sorry to ask, but I love it. But that's incredibly strong. That's incredibly strong. And that's incredibly strong, as is the bottom. However, this point has got movement. So just be prepared to protect that top and that bottom, and then you know that it's going to be fine. Bookboard will cover you. It will be absolutely canny. Right, let's have another demo, and then this afternoon we are going to, just to keep you posted, we'll do the presentation box in full again so you can see it being made and you've got a refresher in your head, and then we'll do some more with the hanging archway card shape as well. So plenty of demos coming your way with different elements and different things to do. I have got a little demo. I tell you what I'll do. Let me see if I can find. There's a demo that I was going to do. Mate, look at me being organised with all my demos. Let me just see what I've done with it. I thought I've got it out. I want to do you a demo. There it is. The hanging archway, which I love. I think it's an incredible die. And I think if you haven't got hold of it, you crazy, crazy fools, it's just an awesome piece to have. Now, I want to talk to you about the stand, because the stand is obviously one of the key points of it, where we've got the stand at the back. Now, you can use it on any card, and I can use it on this card, and that's absolutely fine. However, there are alternative uses for it, and it can be visually very, very pretty, as I discovered when I was playing. It gives me an almost instant aperture, which we like. We like instant apertures where I don't have to cut any cardstock to get it. So I wanted to explore that with you this morning and just kind of explore how we can use it in that way. Now I'm using the scalloped edge card shape here, the nested dies from Carnation. I love the scalloped edge. They're the nested dies, and I'm using the DL. As you all know, I love me a DL. So I'm just going to remove my red liner, fold that towards my body. Of course you could use the stand for this, but I just want to use the stand as an alternative for this demo. So I've got my card base. Now I'm coming in with those perfect papers. Will you look at that pink, dotty, soft gorgeousness? That's what paper should be. That's what mats and layers should be. They should be soft, and they should add of visual depth and beautifulness and sumptuousness. Right, 3 mil on your foam. Let's build. Get your tabs in place. Let's cool those tones. And place this uponst thither. Now, what I'm about to do with the stands, it works really beautifully well on a DL card shape. And I think if you were to make a wedding card shape as almost a wedding arch, it would be stunning. There is also an extra element within this collection, on the archway collection, which is that die that sits on the top, which is your extra archway. So if I bring this in here and just show you where you have your extra panel here, that little arch that comes round, and it builds up this very, very soft view for you. It's this piece of metal that's inside. It's very, very soft, and it will give you a beautiful arch. Remember, you can cut that down to any size to create an actual arch if that's something that you're looking for. So let's look at it as an alternative. I want to use my stands, and I've got that die. And the one thing that Carnation never give us is a one-trick pony. They always give us something where we can go further with it, utilize it in different ways. And this is what we got here. So these two stands, I can utilize these by placing them together, kissing. So I get this gorgeous formation. It's a geometrical shape at the top, and it forms the prettiest kiss of an archway. It's very sweet, and it's an aperture that's already made for me. I don't need to cut anything out. Now you do need to glue these flat because I don't obviously want those higher. You know, I don't want too much shadow play going on underneath these. They're part of my archway. But as I go on crafting with these and I sort of cover up the workings, it becomes this gorgeous archway. If you were doing those wedding cards, perfect for those. It's a nice balustrade to start with at the side. Now I would go in with red liner tape in these. Obviously I'm going to go in with wet glue on this demonstration because it's where I'm at and it's quicker, but just to let you know, if it was me doing it at home, I would most certainly be using my red liner. So I'm just going to go in. If you want your adhesive to stick quicker, smoosh it out, spread it right out, and don't leave any kind of moisture there. Now I want to just make sure I've got it on here as well, right round those edges. I'm not bothered about the inside, but I want it flat, flat, flat. And bring this in. I'm not too worried about them touching, but I do want them stuck there. That point, I want it sealed to the base of my card. I'm happy with a gap in the middle, but I want to use them as the stand. You could cut the excess off these bits, but I like it. I think visually it gives me a little something extra. It's white on white, so it's not affecting anything, but it gives me another cue, and you'll see where I'm going with this in a second. And let's... Now remember, you can cut this from your perfect papers and it will work just as well, or mirror card, or any of that good stuff. And because of that, we can create different visual points. So let's bring these in. Make sure it's stuck. I don't want that bit lifting. I don't want any shadow from that. I want the white to eat itself. So let's bring in some extra additions now to make this what I want it to be. Lots of these beautiful stakes. Not actual meaty steaks, obviously. I know, Staz, I know. It's no bad thing, is it? Right, I'll put this, let me just put it in that center point. I've got a little midpoint here, so I'm going to use that and then use the midpoint up. I'm going to take this to the top there and baseline it. Okay, so now I'm starting to get some shadow coming through. We're starting to see the play. And I'm just going to pull that so I'm overlapping. And suddenly we have almost a blossom, don't we? Same again on the other side. Now, as I'm doing that, because I've used the stand and I've got this square box that I'm utilising, raising everything that will still fold flat for postage, of course, because they've got the score lines in them, so I can fold them flat if I want to. It gives me height. When I get height, I get shadow, and when I get shadow, I get gravity. When I get gravity, I get pretty. So just small amounts of adhesive here. If you need more, you can add it. You cannot take it away. So now we're starting to form that very pretty arch. One across now. So I'm just closing off that archway. You can snip into them if you want, or you can add more to get more depth. Up to you what you do. I'll just place this a little bit here and a little bit here so I know I'm grabbing something, because I've got lots of L's. So one there and one there, and now my shadows start to play. Now by doing that, I'm starting to disguise the workings underneath my archway, which is incredibly pleasing, but it still gives me this beautiful doubled up visual arch. We haven't given it any shadow, but you can see it. So now my archway is then an extra archway underneath, and then we start to pretty it up further and further and further. So I've got my beautiful little duckins, and I'll bring those in, my geese. I can start to bring these in just by piecing through and forming more on that gorgeous botanical archway. Okay, now I can cut off the pots if I want to. I don't need to because they're going to be disguised, but I do have that as an option. So what I'm going to do here is bring this in, allow it to seat, same again at the other side, to form that gorgeous botanical flow line. This one I have cut the pot off because I don't want it to be quite so elongated, because I'm going to focus this down, okay, as part of that almost drapery. Now you could go, bless you, you could go further into the side, you could start to sort of fold this down, but I like it in the middle for what I'm doing here. So a little bit of adhesive on that point. Just to manipulate in. So we've formed this gorgeous archway, and now I've got this I'm going to shape. Okay, so I've got my elements here, and I'm going to do them in a cupped fashion rather than a dome. I want this to stand forward from the rest, and then I can just manipulate that shape. I'm going to go in here with my silicone gel glue, build a bit of height. Let's shout it, and we can choose there. I like it that way. So it's framing out those pinks underneath. And now we have a wedding arch. And we're building, aren't we? And that's why we start to use like the stands in different ways. We are utilizing them as apertures. We don't have to always do what we're told. We are able to go outside the box with Carnation because everything's so versatile. And that's why it's just, you know, a major, major importance. Now we've got our little ducklings, our geese that are just beyond sweet. Hey up, that woke you up, Taz. Let's go down his neck and on his wings, round his little body. Take this, pull just forward so that he is formed, and he's going to stand right in the center, just here. Okay, so he's just going to seat. Now I want his little face to show, so we'll put him at this side because he's very, very curious and wonderful. I want to use silicone gel glue because shadows are important. So let's pop him here. Taz is laughing because she can just see this little face coming out the side. He's very, very cute. Now we're going to shape him out. spiral technique on that inside piece there, then follow those lines and just a little spiral around his head, hold, pull. Little family portrait under the arch. Nice and clean and simple. I have the white space at the top, so all I'm going to do is utilise my brackets as corner elements. Simple but effective. Just to take care of some of my white space, that's all. If you wanted to have the stands so it went from top to bottom, which I didn't want, but you can do, is simply cut 2 of them, obviously, because you'll just cover your workings where they meet. So you would cut off maybe the wings of it and just have the pieces. That's an extra sort of addition that you can do. I didn't want it to take up the full card. Base that off at the other side. You've got your little foundation points at the top just as that visual, and that's just beyond cute. There are no dies that have got only one use. We can play and we can manipulate because we are the leaders in providing you with versatile elements, and that is another way of playing with the pieces that you're already getting in your hanging archway card shape. So lots of uses for both sets here. They are so important to your collection. Botanical Bliss is 240901 on the Carnation Crafts website. Combined price of $130.95. Usual price $114.99. But it's launch week, so we're going to give it to you today for $99.99 for UKP and P. Don't forget your hanging archway card shape as well, which is also available to you today. But don't forget, these are going fast and furious. Your hanging archway card shape is 240907, $49.99, $2.95 UKP and P. If you're obviously getting both together, it's free UKP and P. And don't forget to whack in your perfect papers to give you the ultimate combination to play with your Botanical Bliss card base, and that is your 240908. Your papers $14.99, $2.95 UKP and P. Wow, what a morning. It has flown. I'm so glad that some of you have already got it. By the time we meet again at 12 p.m, I'm sure a lot more of you will have it. Please do let me know. It's always nice to hear that it's in your paws as well as in mine. Go and have a brew, freshen up, and we will see you at 12 p.m. Until then, please do